Good evening. Trisha here. I think it takes a few seconds for people to start joining. This is a big adventure, big experiment. First time I've ever done this publicly, so we'll see what happens. I'll start properly once I see some people start to join. My name's Trisha Wren. And if you haven't met me before, you can probably tell that I'm Scottish. So I hope you understand my accent all right. Please, if you don't, or if you can't hear me, type in a comment. Let me know, please let me know. So we'll wait a little bit longer. There's a delay, I think, between people actually joining and me seeing that people have joined. And it's not showing anyone here yet. I'd hate to just be talking to myself. Oh, Dale's here. Yay! Hi, Dale. Thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it. It might just be you and me at this rate, Dale, although others have said they would come. So we'll see. And I know you know my accent, so you're good to go. Let's see, what else can I tell you while we're waiting? Hopefully anyone who's new will have found me via my Facebook page, which is Trisha Wren, Everything Energetic. And my website is trishaWren.com. Now it says I've got one comment. Let me see. Oh, Tanya. Hello, Tanya. Thank you for coming. Meg, yay! Nice to see you here. Meg, all the way from Scotland. Cool. I'm going to start then because I've got an audience and hopefully some more will turn up. Okay, so I've got my script up the top here so that hopefully my eyes are somewhere in the region of the camera. So I am primarily an animal communicator. That's what most of my work is these days. And also a healer for animals and humans and energy balancer. If you would like to know more about me personally, those that don't, you can check out the About Trisha section on my website, trishaWren.com. And there's also a recording of an interview. I was interviewed for radio last week, a week or so ago, a couple of weeks ago, and that's pinned to the top of my Facebook page, and that will fill you in if you're interested of how I got where I am today, the last few years of my life certainly, and what it is that I do. So feel free to check those out. So, hi Lynn, hi Amy, yay, thank you, and Kate, nice to see you there, Kate, and Violet, haha, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so glad there's not tumbleweeds flying past. I was feeling a little ill right before I did this. Okay, so let's start. So, main thing to remember up front is that I am going to be running and doing a prize draw afterwards, and the people that go in the draw will be the ones who comment. Oh, let me see if I can, oh no, that way, who comment while we're live, or share this to your friends while we're live. I'll be able to look at all of that afterwards, and I'll put you all in the prize draw for something. I think it's going to be a discount voucher or something like that, but there will be a prize. So comments please, thumbs up, tell me how I'm doing, that would be wonderful. And now I will crack on, get to the juicy bits. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little introduction to animal communication sessions. So partly what it is that I do, but mostly what to expect if you were to book an animal communication session. Now, bear in mind, I am talking about me. Other animal communicators might differ a little bit, but this is what I do. So it's so you know why people choose to do this and what they get out of it, what to expect. So I hope it's useful to you. If it makes sense or it... Hi, Peter, thank you. If it makes sense or it resonates with you, give me a thumbs up or a heart, and any comments as you go along, very much welcome. Thank you. So I personally do most of my sessions remotely. That means that I'm not with the animal when I do it. My clients send me a photo of their animal and I do my thing, which I'll tell you more about in a moment, and then I report back to them what came up during the session, and they can ask any other questions that they have. So my thing, what I do is I look at the photo that they've sent me and I make an energetic connection with it. And then I meditate. Here, this is my office and my little meditation room here. I meditate and I ask permission to connect with that animal and to check in with them. And then I've got a sort of kind of routine that I go through, checking and asking various things from the animal. The majority of animals that I do are horses. I've done probably close to 500 horse communication sessions now, because that's my background, but I do all animals, lots of dogs and cats. I've done a goat, I've done a chicken, what else, a few other exotics and things. So I love it. It's the best job in the world. Now, there tend to be three main reasons that someone, an animal lover, would consider booking an animal communication session. The first one, probably the main one, is if you're worried about something. If you think there's something wrong with your animal and you just can't put your finger on it, or something has changed inexplicably, they're behaving differently all of a sudden. Maybe your animal is sick or injured and not healing as well as they should be. So that's the first one, that you're worried. The second common one is that you're annoyed about something. This is fairly common. Tell me if you fall into this category. This is those of you who think, why is my animal doing that? I just don't understand it and it's really annoying me. Maybe they're doing something they shouldn't be doing, whether it's dogs that bark or horses that are overreacting about something or other. All kinds of things. So, you know, you're annoyed, frustrated, or a bit perplexed about the way your animal is behaving and you don't understand it. And the third main reason is that you're curious. Maybe you just want to know what they're thinking. Maybe you want to know their likes and dislikes, whether they're happy or not. Or maybe you want to know how this whole thing works or get some proof that it's real. So those are the three main reasons that people contact me and ask me to speak to their animals for them. So if you're curious, if that's the reason you decide to do this, hopefully a session with someone like me would give you confirmation maybe of things that I couldn't possibly know, or maybe even that deep down you already know. And maybe some clarity on whether your animal is happy and healthy. If you're booking a session because you're worried about something, hopefully you would get some information or reasons for whatever it is that's going on. Maybe some healing, and maybe some kind of action plan to deal with whatever it is that's going on. So reasons and what you might be able to do about it. So for instance, maybe their diet needs tweaking. That's one of the things that I check. Thank you, Lisa. With horses, typically, one of the things that comes up very often is that their teeth need doing. They get very sharp edges on the outside edges of their teeth. It might be that their saddle doesn't fit. So you'd get some information about those sorts of things. And then if you're one of those people that's booking because you're annoyed about something or frustrated about something, again, you might get some reasons for it, some validation maybe, or reassurance, and again, hopefully some sort of action plan to go forward with for you and your pet. So, is this making sense so far? These are the main reasons that people come to me and book a session with me. If you can think of any other reasons that I haven't mentioned, stick them in the comments. Hi Kim, glad you found me. It's a big experiment for everybody, this. So I'm just reading Sam's comment. Mitch's tender hooves following a trim. Oh, okay. So yes, Violet, I do. Thank you, Peter. Yes, I do healings remotely. That's part of my session. So I'll come to that in a moment. And keep the comments coming. Thank you, Caroline, because you'll be going in the prize draw if you've typed in a comment there or shared this to your friends. Now, here's something. Sometimes, if you've never had an animal communication session done before, I generally do my sessions without knowing anything about the animal up front. A large proportion these days of the sessions that I do are with animals that I've never met. So I don't know them, I don't know what's going on with them. And I don't ask questions up front, I just ask for the photo. I like doing it that way. I like going in blind like that because it means that I don't have any clutter, I don't have any preconceived ideas about what to expect. And also I think it's really nice for you guys, for the owners, to see what I get and to know that you haven't fed me that information in any way. However, sometimes something you might expect to come up doesn't. And there's two main reasons for this. The main one is that it's not something that's currently an issue for the animal. So if it's some sort of injury, say, and you would expect it to come up, if it doesn't, it's most likely because, in my experience, it's most likely because it's not actually causing them any pain at the moment or any discomfort. It's not bothering them. So it won't necessarily be shown to me. The second reason something might not come up in a session is because the animal is hiding it. It's not super common, but it does happen. I've had it a few times. I did a reading with one horse a while back, and I fed the information back to the owner, and she said, but what about his lip? Didn't his lip come up? And I said, oh, no, nothing about his lip. I'll go back and check. So I went back to the horse and connected with him again and had a closer look, and he was turning his head away from me like this. So I couldn't actually see this side of his muzzle or his lips on this side. And I said to him, you know, your mum told me there's something going on with your lip, so you can't hide it really now. There's no point. I know something's going on. And he turned his head round and let me have a look, and he had a big cut in his lip. And he was hiding it because he didn't want anyone to mess with it. I imagine, you know, she'd probably been putting cream on it or whatever, and maybe it was a bit stingy, and he didn't want it touched. You know, that's fair enough. And so he thought if he hid it and I didn't know anything about it, that would work. Well, it didn't quite work out for him, but that's something that occasionally happens. So don't be alarmed if something you expect to come up doesn't. Animals generally don't want to upset their owners, and they don't want to be a bother. So I often have to reassure them and just point out that their owner sent me here to talk to them, and therefore, you know, surely that kind of proves that they love them and they want the best for them and they want to know what's going on, and that it's okay for them to talk to me. And so that generally helps, and usually in that case the animals are very happy to share more detail, or sometimes I can connect on a different level then and get deeper information. So far so good? You all still with me? So I hope you're managing with the accent if you haven't heard me before. Things you can find out in an animal communication session then. You can find out about the current health of your animal. You can find out if their diet is okay or not, and I can check whether something needs to be added or removed. Or if you send me a list of ingredients, I can tell you which one is the problem if there's an issue with the food. You can find out if they're happy or not. With horses, things like saddle fit. Does the saddle fit or not? If not, why not? Or how doesn't it fit? Or saddle preference. You know, if you've got more than one saddle, which saddle do they prefer? You can also ask if they mind having a bit in their mouth or would rather be bitless, for instance. And sometimes you might be surprised what the answers are. You can ask whether they like or need X, Y, or Z. I generally, at the end of every session, ask whether there's anything else the animal wants or needs. And when I first started doing it with horses, I fully expected every horse to say, "More carrots, please. I'd really like more carrots. I desperately need more carrots." And so far, in all those 450 plus sessions that I've done, I've only had one horse that said she would like to have more carrots, please. Freya, you know who that horse is. You can ask whether they like their job, whether they like where they live, whether they like you, love you. And the other thing you can find out that is a big part of the sessions I do is whether their energy field and their chakras are in balance. Now, on that subject, I find this is a big part, an important part of the sessions that I do, an integral part. I routinely check the energy field, the aura of the animal, and check the chakras to see whether they're in balance or not. And in my experience, clearing and rebalancing that energy can have really quite a profound effect on whatever it is that's going on with the animal. If our animal's energy is out of balance, meaning, for instance, that we've got excess or undesirable negative energy in our energy field or our aura, it makes it much harder for us to heal ourselves and harder to be in balance mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. So, for instance, if your horse has started stumbling and there's no apparent reason for it and everything else seems fine, they might be energetically out of balance. It's worth checking. if they're behaving, you know, emotionally differently than usual. Maybe they're grumpier or less happy or something. Again, it could be an energetic imbalance. So that's a routine part of the sessions that I do. Hopefully that is making sense to you guys. Samantha's asking, could that energy rebalancing help with a horse who seems to have unpredictable behavioral changes? Yeah, absolutely. You know, Samantha, it might be something like changes in the grass. Maybe the horse is grass affected, or you know, anything like that. But absolutely, it could be energetic. And if you have a read through the testimonials either on my Facebook page, or there's heaps more on my website, triciawren.com, click on the feedback tab. There's lots of feedback there from all different animals, and you'll see comments again and again about the change in the horse's demeanor, and that is largely because I've rebalanced their energy. So it's definitely well worth checking and either getting me to do or learning how to do yourself. So lots of good reasons to invest in an animal communication session, and lots of useful information and insights that you can gain from it. The biggies that people tend to get out of a session are a new perspective, a new understanding of their animal. You know, you're on the same page all of a sudden. Improved relationship. The animal, your pet, your animal now realizes that you're listening to them. That's huge, and they like it. Wow, you mean I can have an opinion and you'll pass this information on to them? Wow, you know, that's really cool. They like it. And them realizing that you're interested in making their life as good as it can be. I also routinely send them unlimited, unconditional love, and they really like that too. It changes things for them. And the other thing is peace of mind, you know, that you've taken all possible steps to address whatever situation it is that's going on with your animal. Now I'm just going to backtrack slightly because Violet asked about doing healing remotely. So in animal communication sessions, if when I scan the animal physically, if I see something, say whether it's an injury or it's maybe I find some inflammation somewhere or some kind of infection, or maybe even just muscle tightness, those sorts of things, then yes, I routinely add in healing to the appropriate areas as part of the session. And this is all remote. Be easy to think it was all just in my head, but I've done enough of them now to know that I'm not crazy. And the feedback proves that great things are happening, so I trust it, and you just have to trust me. No pressure. So that's about it. Any last comments or little questions before we go? I hope it's been useful, helpful introduction or clarification for you. And afterwards, feel free to let me know if there's any other topics you'd like me to cover in future Facebook Live sessions, because now that I've popped my cherry, so to speak, maybe I'll do it again. We'll see. Depends if you want me to. So if you're not already on my mailing list, you can use the sign up button that's right at the top of my Everything Energetic page. It's at the top right. Oh, up there. Or you can sign up on the homepage of my website, and so that will get you infrequent newsletters and updates about special offers and that sort of thing, things that are coming up. Next big thing that's coming is my next 6 weeks to connect with your horse online course. So look out for news about that. That will be starting middle of January. So thank you very much for joining me. I made it. I didn't even puke. Have a great Christmas. Thank you very much to all of you who have supported me this year and been regular clients. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you very much. And I will go now, and I'm going to post soon to let you know who won the free draw. Thank you. See you next time.